This poem is called And Yet. I wrote it in early lockdown, but it seems ever more relevant now. She dreams of expansive blue skies. He dreams of fields with grasses waving. She dreams of fresh, crispy air. He dreams of unrestricted motion. She dreams of space to fully stretch. He dreams of wildly leaping. Yet they are together in this place, this flat with 4 little rooms. They have to share the bathroom space. They have to share the kitchen. They want to share the bedroom space. This leaves just 1 room. Yet they can't imagine not being together. They can't imagine being apart. They can't imagine staying in forever. They can't imagine going out. They can't imagine how this will end. Yet he dreams of splashing in rivers with her. She dreams of walking miles with him. He dreams of leaping boulders with her. She dreams of skimming stones with him. They dream of days when this is over, yet they are together in this place, this flat with 4 little rooms. They have to share the bathroom space. They have to share the kitchen. They want to share the bedroom space. This leaves just 1 room. Yet this room, despite the Zooms it hosts, this room, despite the work pile's mess, this room, despite the we in the corner, this room, despite the view to the west, holds treasure precious in a jar. Yet in 2020, all through the weeks of lockdown and pandemic chaos, of smelly socks and PMS rage, of eating too much and too much drinking, all the time they are thinking what endearments to speak on paper, wishes and promises for the future. Yet here they are, confined inside, 4 small rooms for months on end, just the 2 of them together, dreaming of stretching, of leaping, of space, planning their forever plans, only going out for essentials. Not once did they expect the sickness would affect them. And yet thank you. Entangled. She opened her eyes, aware she was pinned again, that during her sleep she had been restrained. It was hard to be angry, even harder to move. She needed to escape. Strategic placement of weight, angled, tucked, rendered her incapable. She called out, though heard, she was unheeded. This would have to stop. But how could she broach it? Insist this behaviour must end? She did love the cat. It's one for all the cat lovers out there that get pinned down in the bed at night. Thank you. I wrote this poem thinking about those that don't quite make it. whether that's through illness in the pandemic, whether it's through the effects of austerity, whether it's through fleeing a place that you are unsafe. This is called lifelines. Some rivers don't run to the reservoirs, the Great Lakes, or the sea. We all hear the trickle of the young, the babble of the shallows, the roar of the rapids and the whoosh of the deeps as they journey to their destinations. But some rivers don't make it to the reservoirs, the Great Lakes, or the sea. Some become quieted, they sink from sight, pushed by boulders into deep silence, run crazed between strata of molten lava, forced into cracks, divided, frozen, dammed. Some rivers don't make it to the Great Lakes, the reservoirs, or the sea. Thank you. Please don't forget to put your money in the virtual pot. The details are all below. All your donations will convert into raffle tickets, so you've got a chance of winning some amazing prizes. Now I'm going to mention the prizes now. We have got the most amazing raffle prizes. Guess what? You could win a song written especially for you by Blue Vulture. And if that's not good enough, you could win a song written especially for you by the one and only Cookie, Graham Cook from Nottingham. Cookie, imagine having your very own song commissioned by you, written by them. And if that's not enough, you could win a poem by Leanne Moden. She is an amazing poet. If you haven't heard of her, check her out everywhere. I'm going to do a cover of one of her poems in a moment. But yeah, Leanne Moden, brilliant poet. And to have a poem, you give her some words, she'll write the poem. Amazing. And if that's not exciting enough, we're in lockdown, we're all a little bit but imagine if you could have your own personalised performance. And you could win that. You could win a personalised performance by one of the stalwarts of WSO, Mark Block, who dedicated all of his performances last year and all the money raised to WSO causes. Mark's a great musician and a great songwriter. So imagine having a personal performance from Mark. Or you could win a personal performance from Pixie Sticks. Imagine, I want to win with Pixie. Well, imagine how great it would be. All the stories, you'll never stop her, I know you won't. And if that wasn't enough, there's a WSO goodie bag as well. So many prizes, just one raffle. So don't forget to put your money in the pot. Right, now I'm going to do a cover poem for you. Leanne Moden's a brilliant poet and she is one of the raffle prizes. You can get her to write a poem for you about any topic at all. You can give her a topic. So I'm going to be reading one of her poems now called A Piece of the Pie. I will have to keep looking up there because I don't know this one very well at all, but I think it's a brilliant poem, so I hope I do it some sort of justice. Look, everyone gets a piece of the pie, but some get more than others. It's only fair. They were here first. Or, if they weren't here first, then they paid more. Or, if they didn't pay more, then they looked like they could afford to pay more, which is why they got more. No extra cost. I wouldn't expect you to understand. It's complicated. Some people have asked for more, but didn't get it. While other people could do with less, but won't be satisfied, won't be persuaded to share. Some people have been coming here for years and think we owe them something. Some people can't read the menu. These people get crumbs. Some people bake their own pies so that they can have all the pieces, and some people don't realise that some people have already eaten. Some people have already eaten but still feel the gnawing hunger. Some people haven't eaten for days. Everyone gets a piece of the pie. But some people are never satisfied. Some people have been stealing food. Someone is always stealing something. Some slices look bigger than others because some slices are bigger than others. Everyone gets a piece of the pie, except those who get nothing. We don't mention those who get nothing in case they take a piece of our pie. We need to keep a piece of our pie. Sure, some people get more than others, but some people have more luck than others. Some people get more pie than others, and some people get crumbs. It's a good thing it's only pie, isn't it? It's a good thing it's not our lives, isn't it? It's a good thing it's not our world, isn't it? It's a good thing it's only pie. Thank you. That was Leanne Moden's poem, A Piece of the Pie. Don't forget to buy your raffle tickets. And now I'd like to introduce you to our upcoming poets. We've got for you Clare Stewart, we've got Martin Dean, and we've got Trevor Wright. He's technically from Derby, but We Shall Overcome is an open border group, and so we welcome him to our Nottingham event. Enjoy the rest of the event. There's fabulous music, fabulous. Live music, recorded music, poetry, raffle. Oh, I do love a good WSO event, don't you? See you soon. Thanks. Bye.
Hi, We Shall Overcome It. I'm going to read two poems. First one is called Sham Sucker. Parents in such raw times find it impossible to shield all their eyes and ears. So we watch the latest trauma nodding together as our leaders sagely sputter assurances. This will not beat us. Things will return to normal. We are all in it together, whatever it takes. All the while oblivious to the possibility that business as usual is the very thing that is breaking us. And as she leaves the next morning, I aim for normality, but I hug her just that little bit closer, just that little bit longer. Second poem is one that is still in development, but I thought I'd read it anyway. And it's about lockdown experiences. It's called In a Walled Garden. Remember those early days when a routine alarm signalled the stop accents of routine, when shadows hovered over our shared spaces, when dogs thought the walkies' lottery was won, when we just about kept in check the feeling that we'd never be able to fight our way out of this suffocating bag, when downriver from our recently anointed favourite willow, an egret poised still, as if it too was wondering just how old noises could become replaced by creaking boughs, by woodpecker chaka-chaka attacks, by senses of place, of value, by othered voices seeping through spring clouds that seemingly held in snows like a man keeping a tight rein on his tears, until halfway in, sitting snug on Peter's seat, noticing cobwebs glistening across the warmth of flake red brick, our flawed breath catching serotonin airs, savouring what bees do, what bees really do in these public butterfly plots, and mulling on what old Peter, if he were here now, would think of such transitions, of such sacrifice, of such worry wrapped up in newfound wonder. Yet what if, when all of us become newly normalled, when rat runs return to singe leaf and lung, what if we sit back and allow our filters to reset? What if we discharge all we claimed that we had sensed? What if we don't pick out those creaking bars? What if we no longer hear that chaka chaka chack? What if we stop suing? What if we stop really seeing what bees do?
Hi, I'm Clare Stewart. I'm going to be reading some poems for the benefit of Emmanuel House at the We Shall Overcome gig. And I'm very aware that these are kind of quite shitty times, and I don't want to feel responsible for depressing the hell out of people. So I'm going to read a mix because I can't not acknowledge that this is a difficult time. So I'm trying to do a nice mix of cheery and realistic. So this is Nottingham Geographical Fugue with apologies to Ernst Tock. Ernst Tock wrote a piece called Geographical Fugue, which was for choir. It was in four different parts, and it uses the place names of in American and Canadian place names, and his thing starts Trinidad and the big Mississippi and the town Honolulu, and then the other parts come in and they all interweave. It's all exciting. So I've done one for Nottingham, and this is for single performer. Nottingham Geographical Fugue with apologies to Ernst Tock. Nottingham and the flowing River Trent and the arty little Hockley and the folk of Forest Fields and the deer at Woolerton, Papplewick and Ruddington and Stragglethorpe and Top Valley and Calverton. Nottingham and Beeston and Chilwell and Breeston and Bulwell and Eastwood and Risley and Bestwood and Aspley and Langley and Nuttall and Lamley and Cossall and Toton and Lenton and Carlton and Snenton. Tollerton. No Robin Hood in grey Sherwood, no brave little ships at brave Dunkirk, no Batman heroes in Gotham, no griping Tommies in Colic. Nottingham and the flowing River Trent and the arty little Hockley and the folk of Forest Fields and the deer at Woolerton. There. I like that one. I enjoy doing that one. This is called Trickle Down. I thought it might be quite good for a We Shall Overcome gig. Trickle down, washing over me. Trickle down, swimming in money, drowning in cash, clowning in dosh, washing in shekels, trickling down, British rain like British rain, trickle down, wet through, who needs a cagoule, douching in dosh, trickling down my neck and back, floating in a water of wealth, a lake of lollies, river of readies, sea of sterling, an ocean of opulence, money trickling down to me, little unworthy, undeserving me, soaked and saturated and sodden. Hang on, I haven't got any money. Have you? Where is all this trickle down money? It's trickling up, a backward waterfall, chuckling up, back up into the clouds, the Tory clouds, the wealthy clouds, tickling up, pushing us to spend, flowing back to private land, damned in mansions, banks and safes and frozen ice in Switzerland, and not trickling down to us parched people, to the desert here where we are a bit thirsty. That was written in June 2013. Here's another angry one. It's called Peacenik. I'm an ex-hippie, dedicated pacifist, go on marches, flowers in my hair. But what do you do with blooming anger when you're a peacenik? I sit cross-legged, chant my alms, believe in kindness, don't drop bombs. But where do you lob your anger when you think you want peace? I never sharp-shoulder power-dressed, never used elbows, never trod on toes. But how do I wear my anger? Where can I put my anger? How can I stop my anger? Well, you write poetry and you perform on for We Shall Overcome. All right, this is more of a fun one. It's called Big Boot. A big boot, a heavy boot, a biker's boot, a black leather boot, a chain, spikes, rivets and buckles boot, a steel-toed boot, a good kicking boot, a violent boot, an I don't like it boot. But really, it's a posy boot, a fashion boot, a dyed and spiked hair boot, a punk boot, a probably never kicked anything boot, a probably never even kick-started a motorbike boot, a standing outside a bar on a summer's evening chatting boot, a walking down the King's Road boot, a show-off boot, a theatre prop boot. Oh, that's nearly 5 minutes. Right, I'm going to do this one. It's called Stillness in Lockdown. It's a high bun, which is sort of prose poem and haikus, and I've done 2. Watching through my dirty windows, the curtain flutters, the chill in one knee, the tenacious daylight, prolonged, stone-coloured. White light glows behind translucent grey clouds. They're drifting, barely moving, concealing a small crescent moon and the high summer sun. The wind exhales, treetops sway obligingly. The invisible seen. Cold daisies try their best, waiting for warmth. Dark purple pointed buddleias inviting the missing butterflies. Wheelie bins, unseen shames, quarantined, waiting to be emptied on Friday. Unlit houses, solid, residents hidden deep inside. The lifeless afternoon neighbourhood, shushed, motionless. Stillness in lockdown. Grumbling, she says she's fed up now. Her little friend, the dog. That was written this year, obvs. All right, the last one is similar. It's a prose poem called Noontime. It's the noontime of the year, and optimistic thistles are releasing fluff seeds, many-legged spiders, downright, tiny tumbleweeds leaving home, one by one, blindly riding the breeze, hoping to find somewhere to sleep tonight. A pure blue sky presses down. The morning of this year has been difficult, and I can't see that this afternoon will be any easier. But thistles are optimistic. Okay, thank you very much. That's marvellous. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I hope we make lots and lots of money for Emmanuel House, and great to be on the We Shall Overcome gig. I shall stop this now.
Truth is a lemon, squeezed until the virtue runs dry, vivid, sharp and zesty to the eye, bright from the inside, pithy to the core, from the moon at the end of the street to vanilla from Madagascar. Truth is a strawberry as big as an apple, as red as your blush, as sweet as the sun that sets in the west, the herald of duet between blackbird and thrush. If truth be not the mist on your windscreen, nor your fragile breath that billows in clouds on a crisp winter's day, then I am the lie that sits on your lips and leads you astray. I am the power between your two palms, the flower that opens, sweet to your nose. I am the bright spark yet to be born. I am the ribbon of river that shines. Verity be my name. The devil went wandering this fine land of ours, spied an old woman in a state of distress, asked, "What is the matter?" She responded at once, "My cow's gone a-wandering and I'm in a right mess. She's over the river and I can't get her back." Said the devil with glee, "I can build you a bridge. It will be there by morning, ready to cross. But if perfectly honest, there's one little hitch." "I'll do anything just to get poor Daisy back." Said the devil, still smiling, "It's a matter of tax, the life of the first living thing to cross over." And nodding, the woman began to relax. That night in her bed she tossed and she turned, trying to make sense of this strangest of days. Bargain or not, she began to have doubts, as word after word coalesced into phrases. "Oh, what have I done, making pact with the devil? My life in his pocket, my future in peril." Come the new day, curiosity piqued, she walked to the river, her dog at her heel. In the fresh light of day was a sight to behold, for the devil had honoured his part of the deal. Still rubbing her eyes, she was soothed by his voice. "My word is my bond." And he pointed below. There, spanning the river, was the bridge of her dreams. "And your tax bill is due," he reminded her now. "Oh, what have I done, making pact with the devil, my life in his pocket, my future in peril?" From that moment on, affairs gathered pace, and, not to be cheated out of this precious life, she reached in her apron for a stale crust of bread, hurled the said item across the divide. To the devil's distress, her mutt bounded off, and as quick as a flash, ran across the new span. Deceived by her tricks, old Nick flushed bright red and vanished in smoke with his head in his hands. Well, the devil was never again seen around here, embarrassed at being outrun and exploited. All these years later, the bridge still stands proud as a colourful lesson in tax avoidance.